What's up? Welcome back, everyone. Today, what we're going to work on is ingesting SEC filings directly from the Edgar system. We're actually going to use a Ruby gem called SEC Query. This is a Ruby gem for querying the U.S. Security and Exchange Commission, and will include filings for Form 4s, which is when an insider, so someone who has like a chief executive or a president title, or they own more than 10% of the company, or they're somehow really involved with the company. In those scenarios, that person has to tell the SEC when they buy or sell stock in a publicly traded company. And so we can find that information from the SEC. And what we're going to do today is use this SEC query gem to just pull those filings, and then with the goal of saying let's analyze every filing and try to figure out if there might be some sort of non-material information that rides that gray line. And the end goal being that we want to get a notification when interesting trades are happening. We also want to build it so that we can put some little flags onto this stock chart for when trades are happening, like when buys are happening and purchases and sales are happening for stocks. So let's start off by installing this Ruby gem. Okay. So in our gem file here at the bottom, I'm just going to say gem SEC query bundle install, and hopefully it works. Look at that. Okay, fantastic. That's great. All right, so the next thing that we want to do here is let's just experiment. So we can just pull up the Rails console and see if we can get these recent filings like this. So I'm just going to run it and then say filings. Oh my gosh, look at that. So crazy simple. So filings.first is going to be this filing. It has a, whoops. The term is for, it gives you this CIK, which again, I believe should be the identifier potentially for the company. And then it gives us the link to the raw text. So if we click on that, then we see the Form 4's text file, which includes sort of it's kind of like an XML document. It's an SEC document, but yeah, it's generally pretty messy to try to work with this. And so my hope is that there's some sort of tools within this that will allow us to fetch the details for a specific filing. So it gives you this different data. Okay, requires a block, returns the most recent filings. Okay, let's see. So that doesn't get us too far, actually, right? It just tells us here's all the different filings. Is there a way we can filter this? Filing.recent. So let's take a look at the filing thing here, and we have a recent. Okay. Start, count, limit, fetch. So this is really just grab the most recent X filings. We can filter by SIC or by date, or filings for an index, where we give it an index of a bunch of things for index row. This gives us back a new filing thing. Okay, is there a way to get the content for a filing? Parse. Let's see. So yeah, that just gives us back okay, so the file link. What other stuff is in here? Filing detail. So we could fetch accepted date, period of report, access number, document count, format. All right. So I don't think this is going to get us very far, but this will at least tell us what the filings were. And then is this CIK that we're getting back? So this one here, is this the company's? Oh, central index key. There we go. Okay. So is this okay, it looks like it might be the central index key for the company, which is great. So what we can do now, I believe, is create companies where that central index key doesn't already exist. And then we need to figure out how to get more information about the entity. So if we were to say like company.create CIK is equal to that, and then now that we have the CIK, is there a way that we can find more information about it? Let's see. So then we pass that in. Okay. So that's the name. What we're looking for here is the ticker, or like the trading symbol. State of incorporation, the location, the name. Is this actually a publicly traded company? I'm not familiar with this business. IGM Biosciences. Let's see if this is a publicly traded company. IGM Biosciences is traded. IGMS. So is IGMS on here? GMS. There is no IGMS. So if we were to, okay, so if we were to find this one, does this have the trading symbol? It does not. So how do we determine the trading symbol from the... All right, so it seems like based on this GitHub issue, which actually shows how to go from a ticker to a CIK, includes this like helpful comment from 2019 that says there is some file called ticker.txt that's on sec.gov that has a list of tickers with presumably some CIK information. So the one that we were just looking at, right? Like this CIK that we were just looking at, I'm sorry, yeah. So if we were to copy just that number, can we find it in this list? We do, and IGMS is there. Okay, so this is pretty sweet. What I'm curious now is, should we just download this file and make a mapping, or should we hit this endpoint periodically, or yeah, like, what's that? So let's see. Yeah, let's make a job, Rails G job, update tickers, ticker mapping or something, update tickers, and we'll just call it update tickers. So this will be a job which, what's it going to do? So it's going to like fetch the tickers from this website and update the like internal rep. So let's go create a model. We'll create a model that's called ticker mapping or something like that. Rails G model ticker to sick. Gosh. Ticker sick. Sick ticker. Ticker sick. And it's going to have a ticker and it's going to have a sick. And that's it. All right. Okay. Create ticker 6. And we want these to be null, false on both. And we do want an index, add index to ticker 6. So this, in this case, we want every single entry to be unique. We want every single ticker to be unique. So we can say ticker, unique, true, and sick, unique, true. And then we also want the combination of ticker and sick to be true, or to be unique. And so what this buys us is a couple different things, right? So this makes sure that it is unique for the whole table, right? So we can't have the same ticker in there twice. We can't have the same sick in there twice. But then in addition, we can't have the same sicker and tick combo in there twice. And furthermore, it'll be really fast to look up given the ticker or given the sick. So this should be super handy actually. So let's see, Rails DB migrate. And then going back to our update tickers job, we are going to make this say something like we're not going to take any arguments. We're going to say REST client dot get this thing. I don't know if we have REST client installed yet, but that should be pretty simple to install. And then we're going to say tickers, or like mapping is equal to this thing. And then we're going to say like mapping.each do ticker sick. And we're going to say, is there a ticker sick dot find ticker is equal to ticker? Or find or create bang ticker and sick. Maybe, I think that might work. This mapping, when it comes back, right, like this format is not going to be deserialized correctly, so we're going to need to mess around with this a little bit. But let's go to our gem file, install REST client. So gem rest, I think it's REST client like this now. I can never remember. REST client used to be like REST dash client, and then it changed. And then I can't remember. Yeah, so if we say require, well, I don't know if we need to require it, but let's just drop in bybug and say, we've already got a Rails console over here, reload, and update tickers job.perform. Perform now. All right, next, and current, what is this? Uninitialized constant REST client. Okay, so I think, yeah, we need a bundle install. REST client is not found. Is it? Maybe it's dash. Maybe it's, oh gosh, REST client. REST dash client. Okay, let's see if that works. Bundle install. Okay, that seemed to work. Rails C. Open up the Rails console, and then we wanted to run update tickers job.perform now. And next, what is this? Performed update tickers job. Undefined local variable or method mapping. I mean, we're trying to create it right now, right? Why is that? That's really odd. Local variable or method mapping. Undefined local. Why? Let's see. Mapping. Okay, I'm just going to run this line in Rails console and say mapping.body. Okay, so it's split on, okay, so mapping.body.split on new lines. That should give us each individual one. And then we want to map that to x.split on, this time we're going to do it on /t. Cool. So we want to get yeah, let's just do it all. We'll do it all in like one chain. So we'll say dot body dot split on new lines dot map that over the pair, which is going to be pair dot split on tabs, and that should give us our mapping. And then we want to iterate over each of those, and I think we can destructure that like this, and then we'll find or create. So let's just reload this and give it a shot and see what happens. Find or create by, find or create bang, find or create by, let's see, reload. I love that you can just kind of like guess what the method might be in Rails. This looks super promising, right? Like tons of stuff is happening. How big is this file? It's a pretty big file. Who knows? Who knows how long this is, but it looks like, I mean, it downloads pretty quickly. So now we're just waiting for like all of the writes to the database, which are taking, I don't know, if we slow it down, 0.4 milliseconds. So I don't know how many rows we have here, but it looks like it did finish eventually. No, it didn't. So let's just, while we're waiting for, oh gosh, look at that. That CIK already exists. Great. Okay, so we didn't end up getting bad data. So GOOGL and GOOG are both mapped to this same CIK. Ah, gosh, I wonder if they even know that. All right, so is Berkshire going to have two of the same also? It is. Okay, so, what does this mean? This means that the same CIK can point at two different tickers. So then we're going to have to figure out which of the two tickers we care about or which ones we think are the right one. Okay, so how might we do that? We're probably going to have like a preferred ticker or something. I guess that would mean that each company could technically have two or like multiple tickers. So things are going to get real spicy here. Things are getting spicy. Okay, so what we're saying is the way that we've modeled our data for ticker SIC is invalid. A ticker can have, or a SIC can have multiple tickers. And our company model is also incorrect, right? Because we set it up so that a company has a specific ticker. And when we fetch prices, we're expecting to fetch prices for a specific ticker. So what do we want to do here? What do we want to do? I think that one thing we could do is just remove the uniqueness constraint on the ticker SIC for the CIK. That would make it so that we could have multiple entries in ticker SIC for the same CIK. And we could continue enforcing that the pair is unique. Yeah, let's do that. So let's say Rails G migration, like allow multiple tickers per SIC. Allow multiple tickers per SIC. So we want to remove index on ticker 6 for ticker. Let's see if that works. Okay, so now, yeah, so I think let's just try rerunning our job and see if it crashes. While that's going, let's fetch this list locally with curl and just see how long it is. So we can use wc-l. So this is a word count tool. And if we give it -l, that says tell me how many lines. So this tells us there's 11,557 lines. Recalling that, oh gosh, violates uniqueness constraint, ticker 6 on SIC. Duplicate key. Did we remove the wrong one? We totally did. Oh gosh. Okay, so let's see. Rake db rollback. Yeah, because SIC should repeat. Ticker should not repeat. Gosh. Allow multiple tickers per SIC. So this should be ticker, or should be SIC. Rake db migrate. All right. Yep, I did that backwards, or incorrectly backwards. But yeah, I think we're going to get 11,757 SIC mappings. Okay, looks like we're inserting again. And so if we just estimate that it's like 3 milliseconds per, we take this, okay, times 0.3. So it should take like 3 seconds. All right, sweet. Okay, so now if we say like ticker SIC dot first, we get a combo that looks legit. SIC is some number. Okay, so now we should be able to like figure out what the ticker is, or the tickers are for a given SIC. Yeah, figuring out which one we want to save in the company is going to be interesting, but for now, let's just grab the first one. We'll call that good. So when we say fetch company prices, for this fetch company's prices job, we're going to give it the ID. And if there's no, how should we do this? Yeah, we want to backfill. We want to like backfill the company information. So what I want to do is get a list of all the companies that exist on here. So there is like indexes. Here we go. Indexes, full and quarterly indexes. Okay, so for each year they give you a breakdown, and then here they have like the current company.idx, and company.idx is a file that looks like, oh my gosh, it opened in VLC player. That's not what I want. Okay, so it looks like this. And what does it have? It has the name of the company, their CIK, the form type, and then the date it was filed, and then a link to the form or the filing. Okay, but some of these are also like not form 4s. Okay, so that is company. We've got a form, we've got a master. So knowing which one of these is important is challenging. So if we look at kind of just like the file sizes, right? The master one looks like it's the biggest, 493 kilobytes. So if we were to download this one and then take a look at that, what does that have? Master.idx. Okay. Similarly, it has the SIC, then the company name, then the form type, the date it was filed. Okay, so what's interesting about this is, okay, so it looks like these might just be the CIK and then the company name, which feels pretty good. So, okay, so how do we want to do this? I'm kind of wondering if we should try to backfill like a few years, like maybe 3 or 4 of these years. We go back and try to find all of these master, let's see, quarter 1, quarter 2. If we go to like 2020 and go to quarter 4, we see this master.idx file, which, oh wow, so that's pretty decent size. And these, I think we can just like write a quick script to download all of these master.idx files and then iterate over them and backfill the companies. So let's do that. Let's do that. So we're gonna build a script here. Yeah, because we need to figure out like how to read in all these master.idx files, all the index files. So let's say we're gonna make another job, Rails G job, like backfill companies. Yeah, backfill companies. That's what it's called. Backfill companies job. And what is it gonna do? It's gonna say 2020. We'll give it a year. And then we're gonna say quarter, because it has like in the URL, there's a 2020 and then there's a quarter. So we'll say like 1, 2, 3, 4. But like to start, let's just give it a 1. Each do quarter. And so the URL that we're reading is gonna be this thing. Okay, / master.idx. Okay. And again, we can just use REST client. REST client.get, and we'll pass in this thing, and then we'll replace this with year, and we'll replace this with quarter. And that should give us back the index. And then we want to call like, yeah, I guess, dot body, dot split on new line. And this should give us like, again, if we were to like list out, if we're to list out the rows, then each of the rows we need to like split on pipe or something. So yeah, we need to look at this data again. So, okay. So we want to like skip everything up to, I think up to this line. So we can probably just like say, give me, we need to like find the index of that thing. All right, so this is going to be fun. We're going to be messing with some strings here. So let's see, backfill company's job. All right, so we're gonna say rows or like filings or something is this, and yeah, so we'll split and we'll break on there, and we'll just grab the first quarter 2020's filings and take a look. So if we have Rails console here, let's jump back into it and then try to run this perform now. 403 forbidden. Are we not allowed to just make a GET request to that? How is that? Okay, so this is the URL to which we're trying to open. Yeah, and it downloaded fine from the browser. So what is filings? Should be a massive array. Okay, it is. It's a humongous array, which is cool. That's what we want. Filings.first. Filings? Oh, we broke out of it. Okay. Let's grab it again, just like this, and drop it in here. Year is 2020. Quarter is 1. And okay, so filings dot drop. Let's see, filings dot first is this row. Filings dot. So we want to like remove the first n rows where I think n might be predictably. Okay, so let's see, like find. So we want to use the find method to say, like, give me the first row where L dot starts with like a whole bunch of dashes. And maybe find index. So find index 10. So that should give us like where we need to trim off. So then if we did like filings.drop 10, and then filings. Okay, so we want to do. Okay, so after we have these filings, we want to find the index of the row that like tells us where the header is. So header index is filings.find index of the like row where the row starts with a whole bunch of dashes. And then we want to say filings equal filings.drop header index plus 1, because we want to drop the first few rows until that header index. And now we should have each of the filings. And now we want to say something like, so filings equals filings.drop 11. And now we need to figure out how we're going to actually like work with each of these. So now we can say like filings.map f.split on pipe. And okay, so that's going to take a second because there's a humongous list. Okay, and now we have the CIK, then we have the name of the company, and we have whatever type of form it is, and then the date it was filed, and then the filing. So one thing that we could do is exclude non-form 4 filings or non-form 4 companies. I don't think it matters too much. So what did we do? We said, yeah, so let's say filings.drop.map to where filing.split on pipe. That should give us each of these. And again, like we really only need, I guess we need the first and second things for sure. That's like the company's CIK and company name. So I'm kind of wondering if we want to say split on pipe and then drop like, or like dot take 2 or something, so that we only get like the first 2 elements, which will make like the size of the data we're working with smaller. And okay, so yeah, let's do that. Dot take 2. And then we can like probably just make it unique, or like yeah, let's make it unique. So dot unique, maybe? I don't know. I'm not actually sure how that uniqueness works on arrays. Hey, it looks like it totally worked. Okay, so dot, let's see, dot unique. And then we want to iterate over all of these, dot each, do CIK and name. And for each of those, we want to create a new company, right? Or we want to like check to see if we have that company in the database already. So we can say company dot find or create by CIK is CIK, name is name. I guess ticker, we can set the ticker too by looking up the ticker is equal to ticker sick dot find sick find by sick is sick, or I guess where, because there could be multiple ticker sicks with that same sick, and then we'll just grab the first one and then we'll use that as our ticker. Okay, so I think this might actually do stuff. We'll see. So the hope is that we are going to we're going to hit the Edgar index. We're going to download this master index, which has the list of all the filings, and then we are going to split on new line. We're going to remove the header, and then we're going to iterate over all the filings. And for each of the unique filings, we're going to look up the ticker, and then we're going to find the company and run it through this thing. So this is the kind of thing where I would definitely start to write tests, because like we just wrote a ton of code without confirming like anything about it. And I guess we're being kind of willy-nilly and we're just playing around here, so it doesn't really matter too much. All right, so we'll just say backfill company's job dot perform now. And okay, so it downloaded that, and then if we say continue, let's see, company.count 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So it's not actually doing anything. So company.last. What did it? Okay, so company.last.destroy. All right, so what's actually happening? I don't know why it didn't work. So let's put a breakpoint like here and reload and then rerun it. So it seems like I'm getting a 403 like every so often. It's not every single time, but it's frequent. Okay, so what happened here? Undefined method ticker for nil class. Okay. So one of the things that I saw was that some of these CIKs are zero padded, like they have zeros in the beginning, but our ticker sick thing, ticker sick first, like none of these sicks have padding. They don't have any zeros in the front. So that's going to mess us up, is that we have inconsistent format for these ticker and sick things. So I'm wondering if we should either go through and prefix all of these with zeros, like pad them until they match whatever this. Oh gosh. So let's find a specific one. So, well, for instance, so Apple, right? So if we grab this CIK and we jump it in here, all of the docs for Apple show the CIK as being 0, 0, 0, 0. So 4 zeros and then the CIK, right? Let's see, form 4. Okay, so none of those. Let's see. see how that is padded with 4 zeros? I think we might want to do that. So, but look at this. So the sick up here doesn't have 4 zeros. I don't know, like which one is the correct one? I don't know. Okay, so I'm thinking, since we already have ticker sick set up, let's just take the CIK at this point, convert it to an integer, convert it back to a string, and then use it. So we'll say like CIK.2i.2s, 2i.2s, 2i.2s. Not my favorite, but it might work. I don't know. Let's also put a bug in here so that we can see. Oops. Theoretically, the issue was that it wasn't finding, or yeah, it wasn't finding that CIK, right? So we think sick. So the CIK there is that. Now do we have ticker sick dot where sick is sick dot first dot ticker nick. Okay. Next e. Okay. If ticker dot nil by bug. Reload. So the error is that it's saying that there's no method ticker for nil class. Oh, I guess. Okay, so I put it in the wrong spot. So this is going to say okay. So we're rerunning our job and we're expecting that we're going to hit by bug, and we did. Okay, so the CIK in this case is this number, and ticker sick.where CIK is empty. So this giant list that we thought was going to have all of our answers does not have our answers. Darn. All right, so this CIK does not exist in that list. Let's try to figure out which company this is. Kingdon Capital Management. Is this like a hedge fund or something? Quarterly report was filed, 13 Fs. So they did file a Form 4. And I think, okay, so it looks like they filed a Form 4, but they were the reporting person. They weren't the like actual company. So let's take a step further back here and look at filings. Okay, that's too much. No, filings stuff. Yeah. Okay, so I think what's happening is that might not be a filing we care about, or that might not be an entity that we care about. And so we don't actually want to create a company for that. So let's just say if it's not nil, we'll create the company, and then we might lose some data here, but again, I don't care. Okay. All right, reload. Yeah, if it's not nil, right? So if we're able to find the ticker in our like lookup, then we are going to just take the first ticker symbol for that ticker, for that given sick, and then we'll create companies off of it. And duplicate key violates unique constraint. CIK already exists. So we can just find it by the CIK, find or create by CIK, and then update it. Okay, it looks like we're making companies now. So if we were to go back over here to our index, look at that humongous list. of companies. So if we click on Nick, nothing is there. Nicholas Financial, SCCO, nothing there. Back to all companies. And yeah, massive, massive list, right? Okay, so this is fantastic. This is gonna give us a list of companies. So SGMO, cool. NSP, cool, whatever, right? So at least we're gonna have a backfilled list of companies. This is great. In the next episode, what I think we wanna do is actually start fetching those filings. And when we look at the most recent filings, we'll be able to tell which companies they were for. And then in order to obey that Alpha Vantage stock API's rate limits, we only want to fetch the prices for a company sort of on demand and when it matters for the filings that are happening. So Form 4 filings might be pretty few and far between for smaller companies. If the market cap is less than 500 million or even less than like $1 billion, right? Like the number of times that filings are going to be popping up on the SEC's radar are pretty small. And so it should be totally fine to fetch the prices for a company when we know about a new filing. So why don't we do that next? So yeah, I guess like if we had a really high rate limit API where we could fetch company prices, then it wouldn't matter. We could just go backfill all the prices for all of these companies. Separately, we could just go fetch all of the prices for all of these companies on like a slow cadence where it's like, okay, we'll fetch 5 per minute and we'll just let it run for like several days until we figure out how many prices we actually need. Instead, I think the best approach here is going to be to only fetch the prices for the company when a filing happens. So we'll do that in the next episode. If you stuck with me this long, thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it. And we will head into the next episode where our goal is going to be to grab recent filings and refetch prices for companies where we haven't recently fetched the prices for it. So join me over there in just a bit. Thanks. See ya.